Hello, friends, and welcome to another installment of Go Tell It on the Mountain. This Sunday, I'm going to have the opportunity to fellowship with Reverend Jane Rowe and the South Congregational-First Baptist Church, United Church of Christ. I've already begun to hear some of the wondrous story about how those two things came together, and I'm sure we'll learn more for this 50th celebration of that union this Sunday. Jane, good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining me on Go Tell It on the Mountain.
Good morning, Reverend Goodwin.
You may have seen these before, so I'll start with the first question. Jane, tell me how you arrived at this unique coming together of these congregations. Tell me your call story to South Congregational-First Baptist.
Okay, well, my call story is a little complicated to this.
Aren't all of ours in some way?
So I'm going to start with that I was installed as the pastor in January of 2018. But my history with the church goes back to 1998.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So in 1998, my husband, Ron Brown, was called to serve as co-pastor of this church. It was at that time, the church had both a Baptist and a UCC co-pastor. So he was called as the UCC co-pastor. And at the time I was pregnant with our twins and we were moving from Rochester, New York. So I chose to set aside ministry for a while. I had been serving in Rochester for 10 years and to just have some time to be a mom at home. And so I was the pastor's wife at South Church, serving in a variety of ways for 5 years, close to 5 years. And then I accepted a call to First Church in Farmington, Connecticut. Ned Edwards was the senior pastor then. And I was serving primarily in children's ministry there for 8 years. And in 2011, that position ended and I ended up finding my way to South Church. George Harris was the pastor, the lead pastor, and they were looking for they had needed to do some staffing changes and they were looking for help with children's ministry. So I agreed to come for 1 year to work part-time in children's ministry. And it was a really good fit, the two of us. And of course, the congregation knew me. Many people in the congregation knew me. So having that foundation just is so positive for a ministry. Yeah. They trusted me, like I could do things, new things. And so we kept kind of re-upping a year at a time. And then when George accepted a call to go to Simsbury, the church asked me to serve as the transitional lead pastor. So we were in sort of a 2-year discernment process. And then they called me to be the pastor and then I was installed. So I have a 26-year history here with just a few years when I was not at all connected, when I was at Farmington and Ron had left here and gone to the conference to serve at the conference level. So other than that, I've been around here in a variety of positions. So,
well, two things I want to name that I think being a mom and having twins is a ministry, sister. So when you said you stepped away, I'm like, oh no, you went to it totally deep ministry. And then because I don't want to get in trouble here, I'm also going to say being a clergy spouse is a ministry unto itself. So God bless you. So yeah. Later when Kenny watches this, he'll feel like, oh, look, but I know that being a clergy spouse, my God, has its own tentacles. So bless you on many, many fronts. And now to this call. So, the next question, and I feel like this is the question of the hour, of the question of the time we're living in. Where are you finding hope in your church right now, in the life of the church? What's exciting you? What's bringing you hope? What's bringing you the energy for this next road ahead?
Something about South Church is that has been true for perhaps always, but a long time, is they're very clear about their mission. And that, there are words etched on the building that say, in the heart of the city, for the heart of the city. And South Church has been very clear about staying in the heart of the city, even when other churches left, and ministering in the heart of the city. And that clarity of mission really is exciting. And it also is the ground out of which we can make choices about change, right? And so this church is also open to change. I mentioned, when I came doing children's ministry, they trusted me. So they were like willing for me to change things up a bit. And that there is an evolving change that happens here over time. A year ago, more than a year and a half ago, we introduced a playground to the sanctuary, our very traditional, historic building sanctuary, Gothic sanctuary that we have. We created a space with children's tables and chairs right in the front. And, and we're living into that change about how we do ministry with children and families. And there are growing pains with that, right? But it's really positive. That's an example. We are right now in the very beginning stages of talking about potential changes in the sanctuary itself. And as we consider renovations that are going to be necessary, right? What else needs to change if we are to more effectively serve the community in this time? And, pews are one of the big question marks there. So, and like I say, we're very much at the beginning of this, but we are a congregation that is willing to sort of engage in a careful discernment process together about how God is calling us forward to be more effectively in the heart of the city, for the heart of the city. So I would say that always excites me. Can I say a little bit more about that?
Please. Yes, absolutely.
The other thing is that partnership is really important to this church. So we are connected to others in the community, and a very current thing that we are working with other churches and the interfaith community is planning a vigil to, what are we calling it? Candlelight Vigil in a World Darkened by Violence. In December, we're going to participate in this community-wide. And I think that I'm excited that people are eager to come out together and work together to witness to what is, the light that we need to shine in this world right now. So, and though, that involves conversations across differences of opinion about how we address problems in the world. But I think we're committed to that kind of engagement in the community. So.
Oh, thank God for that. and you just inspired me to think about, for many of our churches who are wondering, well, what can they do in this moment? And it doesn't seem clear, right? It feels like people don't know what to do, how to respond, but that community gathering space, right after the election, I had posted a video that the title of it was Open the Doors of the Church. And I think having the vigils, having the gathering spaces are a reclamation of what many of our churches' foundation was as the meeting house. It was sort of the commons that people would have come to maybe be recentered in. So blessings to you and your leadership.
And let me acknowledge that it is our sister congregation of First Congregational Church in New Britain, or First Church of Christ in New Britain, that will be actually hosting that gathering. So I was part of getting the conversation started, but I'm really glad that we're engaging in multiple congregations together with this. So.
Wonderful. So Jane, how can people join us for worship? The link to your church will be posted, as well as a little clip from your mission statement. But are there other ways that people can join us on Sunday?
We live stream on YouTube, so we have a channel on YouTube, South Church New Britain CT. That is also linked on our website. If you go to worship and the drop down menu includes live stream, so you can get to it that way. We're also on Facebook, linked through our Facebook page, South Congregational-First Baptist Church. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Friends, I hope you have enjoyed this little snippet into the life of South Congregational and First Baptist Church. I want to remind you that the churches in the Southern New England Conference are invited to be churches of light and hope. If you want to know more about what we're doing together, then I invite you to go to our website at findhopenow.org. Thank you, Jane. Look forward to being with you all on Sunday.
Thank you, Darrell.
Blessings to you.